Israel's Defense Minister Ehud Barak has just returned from Turkey, where he conferred with his Turkish counterpart and with Turkey's foreign minister. And in the aftermath of all that, the squabble that flared up between Israel and Turkey over the way in which Turkey's ambassador was treated when he was called in for consultations at the Israeli Foreign Ministry supposedly has pretty much petered out, and the relations are moving back to normal. Just before Minister Barak left for Turkey, it was learned that Israel and Turkey closed a deal under which Israel would supply Turkey with its advanced Heron pilotless drones. All of this at a time when Turkey has been making overtures to the Islamic Republic of Iran at the behest of its Prime Minister Erdogan. So the question, Yitzhak Noy, is there any point to this? I mean, how can Turkey play it both ways? Or why should Israel try to regain the friendship of a country that wants to move in a different direction?
Well, I don't want to address myself to the follies of Dani Ayalon.
You mean the Deputy Foreign Minister?
Deputy Foreign Minister, because his behavior is so childish and irresponsible that this is.
Well, you should mention what he did.
But
I mean, because
the thing with the chairs, an upper chair and a lower chair.
That he sat the ambassador down on a couch so that he'd have to look up to him.
Something like that, and then ahead of time he invited his journalists to show them that he's a tough guy and so forth. The whole thing is childish, and he did it in the name of the Israeli pride, and since then he apologized already 4 times. Humiliated himself, as a matter of fact. So where is the Israeli pride at the end of the day? But the point I'd like to make is the misunderstanding, the total lack of comprehension as for what happens in Turkey itself. And they should know, and I'm amazed no one in the Israeli Foreign Ministry mentioned it to Ayalon or for that matter to Lieberman, that within Turkey there is a rift between the army that represents the old Ataturk constitution, secular constitution of 1922, and the government which is currently Islamic. And by humiliating the Turkish ambassador, Dani Ayalon played right into the hands of Prime Minister Erdogan, that comes now to the army and says, you see, they humiliated Turkey as a country. They insulted our nationalism, to which the Turkish generals has very little to say and respond. Now, you have to take into account and see how impressive it is that despite all the difficulties, our Defense Minister, Barak, was accepted in Turkey quite honorably. And this stresses the fact that the Turkish army is not necessarily the Turkish government. They are 2 different entities that disagree more than they agree on basic matters concerning Turkey. Now, with the thing of the Heron and the sophisticated military systems that Israel wants to sell and actually sells to Turkey, here I'm not sure we are doing the right thing, because the tendency goes for Turkey becoming more and more Islamic. And if you sell Turkey today, Israel wanted in the past to sell Turkey the Arrow system, but it was prevented from doing so by by the Pentagon. And rightly so. Now, can you imagine Turkey drifts all the way to the edges of extreme Muslim ideology, and then becomes an ally of Iran, and the technology that's supposed to defend Israel in the very bleak days to come will become free technology, information, and all the rest of it, in the hands of the Iran.
That could be, but having been to Turkey during a coup, when the army moved in and ousted the civilian government because it could not accept that government's policies, the Turkish military establishment could be moving in that direction once again. And the Israeli policymakers may understand that, especially the military ones, that when push comes to shove, the Turkish army will step in and call everybody to attention. At the same time, restoring the principles of the Constitution of 1922, which required democracy and secularization.
But the paradox is that the European Union demands that within Turkey, the military won't have the upper hand or the last word.
That's
which
true.
is paradoxical to the very idea of secular Turkey. And in Europe, they know it, but it is an excuse not to accept Turkey into the European Union.
I was just trying to get to that point. There are commentators and analysts who are saying that Prime Minister Erdogan's move towards Tehran was prompted by the European Union's refusal to bring Turkey into its midst. And having reached a stage where, once again, Turkey is rejected by the European Union, Erdogan is shifting his gears toward and driving towards the Islamic Republic of Iran. And the question, of course, is whether the European Union, in the last analysis, is to blame for this.
But at the same time, one can argue that Turkey drifts towards Tehran because Turkey realizes that the United States does nothing in order to stop the Iranians from completing their nuclear program. And since Iran is about to become a regional superpower, Turkey wants to maintain good relations with Tehran or Iran at the expense of Israel.
That's a very strong point, and I think that on a point like that, it would be a good idea to come to close here. And so I want to thank you, Yitzhak Noy, once again for being with us on Middle East Perspective, and we look forward to another session next week. I'm Jay Bushinsky of CBS Radio.